Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Morning Call for the 26th of March, 2026. Stocks are higher today as investors pray for peace in the Middle East. We've got a pretty green heat map this morning. We've seen, that the US is betting on their 15-point US-led diplomatic plan, despite Iran publicly rejecting the overture. Trump said a lot of things, and Iran has effectively dismissed most of them. Despite that, the market's betting on that Iran is taking it into account, and we'll see how that plays out. Looking at the indexes, we've got the ASX on the last session up nearly 2%, Nikkei up nearly 3%, China up 1%. Hang Seng up 1%, Euro stocks up 1.5%, Dow flat, S&P 500 up 0.5%, Nasdaq up 0.67%, and the Russell up 1.21%. In terms of corporate movers, ARM Holdings unveiled its first proprietary AI data center chip, forecasting $15 billion in revenue within 5 years. Google released TurboQuant, which is a new compression method that can cut LLM cache memory by up to 6 times, which can actually speed up the LLM process up to 8 times, which has actually caused memory stocks to drop 5% due to kind of decreased demand, increased efficiency. SpaceX hype is space stocks. Rocket Lab and Intuitive Machines surged on reports of an imminent SpaceX IPO filing. So a bit of liquidity in that sector, bringing up those prices. And the Fed overlook is that markets have now priced out all rate cuts for 2026, down from 2 expected before the conflict began. So moving over to commodities. Gold, nice recovery there after a pretty heavy downturn at 0.68% for the day. Silver, flat. Copper, relatively flat. Platinum, down 0.63%. Crude, up 3.15%. Iron ore, down 1.71%. Coal, down 1.31%. Lithium having a bit of a rally, up 2.38%. Uranium up 1.6%. Bitcoin kind of chugging along there in that 70k range, up 1.2%. AU dollar down 0.7%, and the US dollar recovering slightly at 0.4%. We are looking at the price of gold pretty closely. And we've seen a lot of support at this 4K range. This nice little wick up has shown that this could be it for the price of gold in terms of that could be the low. We are pretty bullish on the critical mineral or critical metals sector. And it's a slightly counter narrative, provided that I suppose the headlines will tell you that rate hike fears are pushing down the price of critical minerals or critical metals. My apologies. However, if you look historically, we did a bit of backwards analysis on this, particularly looking at previous spikes in the price of oil. And historically, it starts off with rate hike fears pushing down the price of precious metals. But in the midterm, we tend to see the threat of inflation. God forbid, in the modern era, we see a recession, and we tend to print ourselves out of it. And given the state of the US right now, and where they are in their debt cycle, the fears around rising rates or the effects of rising rates to the US economy could be more detrimental due to the mere interest payments on that. So we are bullish on gold and silver. We do have a strategy that we've built around the gold and silver narrative. We do have a QR code here, so feel free to scan this. I'll also leave a link in the description explaining a little bit more about our thesis around gold and silver in a bit more detail. So scan that QR code. A bit of a funny meme there that went a little bit viral over the last week. Obviously, everyone's rushing in at 5.5, but no one wanted at 4.2. And this is you don't want to be a headline trader, and this is generally where we were selling around the 5.5 mark. We sold Newmont, Northern Star around the 5.5 mark, and we're looking to re-enter around here. So stay tuned, have a look at the strategy. Very keen to hear what your thoughts are on gold and silver. If you want to leave a comment. Very interested to see what the general market or what our listeners and viewers think about the pricing of gold and silver. So leave some comments below. Keen to hear more about it. And if you want to see what we're thinking on a day-to-day basis, don't forget to sign up to Mosaic. Get a 30-day free trial. And that is all for today on the morning call. Have a good one, everyone. Stay safe out there in the markets, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.